Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. Late night here on Thursday with the, as promised, early look at the Friday slate that we've got 8 games to look at here. I'm going to be going through some early best bets that I already placed and give you guys those. Looking deeply into about 3 of these games of the 8 that we have, and then the other 5, just taking a quick look before we have the video tomorrow night, or tomorrow day rather, that will have the exact picks that I have, including a bunch more player props as those continue to come out and are available. I am going to throw the 8-game slate back to backs your way real quick. We've got a couple teams on the back end. Minnesota with a really nice win at Indy on Thursday. If you were watching that block rather to win the game, really save the game. They won 113-111. His block at the end there as time was running out was pretty awesome. I put that up on the YouTube shorts if you want to take a look at it. Miami at Dallas. They did lose that game. It was kind of a bad loss for them. They just got smacked in the third quarter and really couldn't come back. Jimmy and Bam failed us miserably, but they are now going to be at OKC where they're pretty big dogs in that one. We'll take a quick look at it, and I'm not really sure what to do with it yet until we see who's going to actually be playing for the Miami Heat here on Friday. The front end teams here, we've got Charlotte at Washington in the Doo-Doo Bowl is what we're calling it. They are both 0-5 in their last 5. Washington is on that awesome losing streak right now. They are the Charlotte is then going to be at versus Brooklyn back at home on Saturday in that one. And then Portland is going to be taking on Houston on Friday at home, and then Toronto at home as well. A couple of sliding teams. I don't really know what to do with all 3 of those squads, but we'll take a quick look at those games as well. Quick reminder while I have you here and I'm showing you the show schedule, go ahead and subscribe to the page, jump in the comments. Let me know what you guys think, because there's some early stuff coming out. So it's actually pretty interesting to have conversation around what's going to be happening here on Friday. But as I showed you here on the video on Thursday afternoon, repeating that for you guys, we're going to have this video obviously right now, Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. You're going to see that best bets and player props final bets video. Friday night, as in tomorrow, we're going to be looking at the Saturday projections and early best bets there. And then Saturday, we're going to do it all over again, where we give you the final best bets, final predictions and player props, all that kind of stuff. Also want to make sure you subscribe, because Oaks is coming out with the UCL UEFA Champions League videos that he's going to continue to put up for us. He's doing really, really well in those. I think you guys are getting some pretty good money off of that. I know I'm tailing what he's doing there, and college basketball. So do subscribe to that page and continue to follow along. And let's get right into this slate. First game I'm looking at with a couple bets that I have. Pellies are at the 76ers. We got a total of 224.5, and this keeps rising in favor of the Pels, -7.5 now, whereas they opened, I believe, -3.5. So this got bet up majorly. If you did miss out on the 3.5, obviously, by the time you're seeing this, 7.5 is still probably something I'm looking at here. But a couple injuries for the Pels, not really important. Dyson Daniels doesn't really get much time anyway. Cody Zeller will be available. More importantly, the 76ers squad, you can see everybody they're missing. Embiid's still out. Covington and Maxey still out. D'Anthony Melton still out. A bunch of those guys missed a bunch of time. Maxey has missed the last 2 games there. So all the injury stuff is going to be on that scroll continuing through the episode as well. So make sure you check that out. But taking a look at what we've got in this one. It's basically the story of 2 teams going in opposite directions. The Pellies have been incredibly hot as of late, and the 76ers, as we know, have been struggling because their team is pretty much on the bench at this point, sans Tobias Harris and maybe some Kelly Oubre Jr. in there as well. But for the Pels in their last 10, we're talking about the second best offensive and defensive rating for this squad. They've had a decently easy schedule, but 10 games is a decent enough sample size with wins against a couple good teams there dating back to before the All-Star break happened. And then the 76ers, you can see they're just sliding, and the offensive rating has been all right because Maxey's been doing his thing, 16th in that, but in their last 10, but 27th in the defensive rating. Joel Embiid, we know, is incredibly important to the defense that this team plays, especially with some of the stuff down low. We'll take a look at that here in one sec. As far as the pace goes, both these teams playing pretty slowly. We know that the 76ers are going to do that with or without Embiid this season, and the Pelicans have been pretty much around the middle of the pack to bottom half of the league in terms of pace for the entire season. So nothing out of the ordinary there, but very out of the ordinary. The rebound percentage for the Pelicans, normal, 11th in the league. That's about where they stand. The 76ers, though, 26th in the league in rebound percentage over their last 10, as B-Ball Paul has been absolutely terrible for them. They've tried to bring in some Mo Bamba. We keep seeing them bring in new guys to try to get down low and help them around the rim. Hasn't been working. Their effective field goal percentage, 23rd in the league. They're really not able to create shots without Joel Embiid in the center of the offense, right? Everything is predicated around him, getting guys to either collapse on him and still scoring, or passing out of those double teams, which he's done super well this season and has led to most of the assists that they have are either his original potential assist or secondary assist because of the passing that they have around the perimeter as a result of everything shifting towards him. The effective field goal percentage for the Pelicans has been awesome. Fourth best in the league. They've been looking really, really good on offense, getting a ton of assists, getting a lot of threes off of assists, and really other easy buckets as well when Zion is going to the rim and creating really for other guys as well. But they have been super, super hot. The other things I want to look at here for them that are pretty important, the corner threes and really threes in general, but really the corner three, because with the 76ers having to sort of pack things in a bit more because they don't have their shot blocker, Joel Embiid, you've seen them struggle mightily against the three-pointer. And that's something that I think is going to continue for them as they play a team who has, like I said, passed the ball really, really well around the perimeter. The corner three-point average, the attempts in terms of the frequency for the Pellies, fourth most, which makes their corner three-point percentage really impressive, right? If they weren't shooting that many threes from the corner and making the most that had the highest percentage, wouldn't be that impressive. But they've got such a high frequency and the best three-point percentage from the corner threes. You know they're making the most in the league from that spot. The 76ers, they've been giving up about the 12th most attempts from that spot, but the defensive corner three-point percentage, awful for them, third worst. Like I said, they're not able to sell out on the three-point line nearly as much because if guys get past them, it's just an easy waltz to the lane. That's been the problem for them without Joel Embiid on the defensive side, where he's just mightily important. Outside of just blocking shots, they can feel comfortable to guard the perimeter much better. And obviously, they also haven't had a lot of their perimeter defenders, with DeAnthony Melton being their best three-point defender, not in it for them for the last basically month or so, and it's looking bad for him. So the free throw attempts are another thing I look at here. The Pellies are attacking the rim decently, 11th most highest free throw attempt rate on offense, and they are limiting teams to the 10th best opponent free throw attempt rate. Everything for Philly is awful. I mean, this is a team this is probably the biggest difference when they don't have Joel Embiid more than anything is they don't get to the free throw line, and they can't limit you from getting to the free throw line because they have to foul. They don't have anybody to block shots or alter shots or anything, right? So they're getting a lot of guys to the free throw line, and it's all a problem for them. So you can probably guess what this bet is. I am going to take, I already did take the Pels -7.5. I also missed out on the 3.5, was doing a ton of other stuff today, but I got a half a unit on the -7.5 because I didn't want it to get any higher. And we could see this as much as 9.5, 10.5 by the time the game starts tomorrow. Trey Murphy, missing a Y on the end of his name there, but Trey Murphy, I'm going with him in this one because he is shooting the second most threes from the corner. Now, Herb Jones is actually shooting the most, but he's at a 57% three-point percentage is Herb Jones over the last 10 games. That makes me nervous. I'm just waiting for that regression to come for him. And so I don't necessarily want to have to make it, bank on him getting two made threes when he's not even taking 4 3-pointers a game. Like I said, 57%, making 2.3 over his last 10. That equals about 3.8 threes that he's taking. So for him to have that good of a percentage with not a very high volume from three, don't love it. Trey Murphy, on the other hand, is shooting more than 9 threes per game over the course of his last 10. And he's also averaging 17.5 points in that time. So I don't mind the points. We just don't have props for him as I'm putting this video out yet. So I wasn't able to give you definitive bets on him, but know that he is coming in those best bets tomorrow. And if you see him before you get to that video for a prop for him up, you know how I would play it. So, act accordingly. All right, taking a look at the second game, I have some bets for. The Magic are at the Knicks, and this is wrong. The Magic should be favored by a lot more than just -1, which you see here. As far as the injuries go, Wendell Carter Jr. is questionable for this Magic squad, and you can see everybody out for the Knicks. Jalen Brunson's questionable. As a Knicks fan, I really don't want him to play in this game, as I just want his ankle to heal and for him to get better. But OG, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson all out. That is a big deal, and that's why the Knicks have been so bad as we take a look at it here. Basically not holding their own on either side of the floor, right? Magic have the 9th best. By the way, Magic have been super hot as well. That's why they're up to 4th in the Eastern Conference right now, is because they've been on a surge, winning most of their last games. They have the best defensive rating in the league in their last 5 and really the last 10. Offensive rating, they have the 9th best, which is one area where it's like, okay, Paolo and Franz are clicking a lot right now. Markelle Fultz has been out there for a lot more games and helping a ton as well. Wendell Carter Jr. has been important for that offense, but we'll see if he plays in this one. Either way, the Knicks fourth worst offensive rating in that time. There's just it's not fair. Without Jalen Brunson, it's super unfair. Without everybody else, it's just normally unfair, to be honest, because that's the key to their offense right now is either he or Julius Randle. OG Anunoby has been a huge help as well, shooting from the corners. The defensive rating, obviously, without Mitch Robb, without OG Anunoby, even without Julius Randle, who's been having an awesome defensive season when he actually tries, it's just not much that they can do without the forces at hand. We know both these teams are going to play incredibly slow. That's why this total is at 208.5. And to be honest, I might go under before I went over in this one with the way the Magic have been playing defense, especially. And that rebound percentage for the Magic, best in the league. Knicks down to 19th. And those are two areas, right? Like the defensive rating and the rebounding, we know is two areas that they really need to excel in order to be good. And they have been bad because they haven't had their guys in there. Effective field goal percentage, we know that the offensive rating has been good for the Magic and the shooting has been equally good. Best effective field goal percentage in the league over their last 5. Knicks third worst, all bad as we continue to see for them. All right, we look here at another couple of things for them. Free throw attempt rate. This is a big discrepancy as well. Best in the league for the Magic. Knicks usually pretty high in that category, at least ability to defend and limit free throws to the other team. Not been the case as we see them down at 15th, right in the middle of the pack. So we probably should expect the Magic to get a bunch of free throws in this one. Paint frequency. The Magic aren't going down there quite as often in their last 5, although they are in their last 10. I will say they're going all the way to the rim and with the highest frequency. But the Knicks have been okay defending the rim, just not good defending the paint. And I really wanted to show you this. The opponent paint field goal percentage for the Knicks dead last, while opponents are coming into the paint with the high, but not as high of a frequency, obviously the lowest frequency rather, but when they get in there, they're scoring. And the Magic are a team that are going to get into the paint. They're going to get into near the rim. They have the 9th best field goal percentage when they get to the rim. I do expect them to continue to attack that a bunch more with just guys like Precious, Achua down low, and even Hartenstein, who has been a little bit worse defensively over the course of the last 5 or 6. Obviously, big deal when he doesn't have other help around him in order to defend that paint and the rim. The offensive rebound percentage for the Knicks has been good. They are continuing to attack the boards with athletic guards, Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, even Precious, really good on the offensive boards. But the Magic have been limiting offensive boards to the other team to the tune of the lowest in the league. And they don't turn, they cause a lot of turnovers. The Knicks have been turning it over. Obviously, nothing to like here for the Knicks. So we're going with the Magic here, -1.5. I'm putting a full unit on that. Normally, when it comes out early like this, I like to put a half unit on and see if I want to, maneuver and play with that later. But the 1 unit, I'm just going in on it with the Magic. And if this continues to stay at 1.5, I don't know why I wouldn't continue to buy back in, to be honest. So really love the Magic in this one. Let's get to one more game here that I have with at least a bet for you in this one. Looking at the Bucks, who are +1.5 dogs at the Lakers here, -1.5, 234.5 total. I don't know what to do with that. We'll talk about it. Giannis is probable. Chris Middleton's out again. LeBron is his customary questionable, but he's played through that questionable tag all season long. Anthony Davis is probable. Cam Reddish should be back as well. And then the 3 guys that are out, Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, and Christian Wood, not good because those guys would be super helpful for this Lakers squad, especially Vanderbilt and Christian Wood on the defensive side to help guard Giannis. But without that in there, we're going to without them in there, I should say, we're going to take a look at some of the stuff here, the last 5 for both these teams. Offensive rating, we know the Bucks have been playing a little bit worse on offense, a little better on defense, but they did give up a ton of points to the Warriors. Obviously, the Warriors were in a huge bounce back situation. Bad loss for the Dubs against this Bulls team that continues to win on the road and with no rest, etc. Pretty impressive stuff from them. But the Bucks now coming in with the 13th best offensive rating in the last 5 and the 4th best defensive rating in their last 5. That dropped dramatically from second after they gave up the 120 points they lost when in the loss to the Warriors. But the Lakers have not been playing defense and have been playing offense. We just saw a 250 total in that Lakers-Kings game in LA. The offensive rating is up around 4th. The defensive rating down to about the 9th worst in the league. As far as pace goes, nothing really that stands out for both these teams right middle of the pack. If anything, the Bucks playing a little bit slower than you might expect. The rebound percentage, bad for both teams. You can see there's a lot of evenness, and it's why this total or the spread here is only about 1.5, and neither team gets much on the money line. If anything, I would take the Bucks on the money line because I do think this is a pretty even matchup. On offense, the Lakers have the 3rd best effective field goal percentage. They've been shooting pretty much lights out, to be honest, including a bunch of guys like D'Lo and LeBron, even having a lot of success from deep. So we'll see what happens. Austin Reeves, another one we should mention, really good numbers from deep as well. But we'll see what happens there if the Bucks are able to defend that really solid effective field goal percentage for the Lake Show. A couple of things I'm getting into a little bit more deeply: the 3-pointers in general. Now the Bucks have been shooting a ton of threes, making the the fourth most, taking I believe like the eighth most over the course of the last 5 games or so. And so that the above the break 3-point frequency is something to look at, because Dame is someone who's going to continue to shoot from up there, and even Malik Beasley. Now he's shooting from the wings, but that's still above the break, as he's higher up than really down than he is closer to the baseline, right? And that's why I think there's 2 guys that are going to give the Lakers fits when it comes to points. You might even look at Malik Beasley as a good bet for his points prop at about 10.5. Just don't want to put anything on that just yet. The defensive 3-point for the Lakers has been a bit bad from everywhere, really. Even from the corner, it's been bad, where the Bucks do get a few threes here and there. Although, like I said, most of their stuff is from above the break, 3rd highest frequency in 3-pointers that they're shooting from there. But moving on real quick to the offensive and the defensive transition points per possession. That's what those PPP stands for there. The defensive transition points per possession for the Lakers down to about 17th. Whereas the Bucks have been getting in transition a bunch more, 3rd highest points per possession in the transition over the course of the last 5 games. And on the season as well, they've been actually like going not quite as frequently into the transition, but when they get there, because Giannis is so good at just attacking, if you don't have enough guys back to guard him, he's getting to the rim pretty much every time, right? And so I think we'll continue to see that as a problem for this team, whereas they've been getting back on defense, especially over the last 5, and the Lake Show wanting to get to the rim haven't been able to have been doing it really well. We'll see how much success they have against the Bucks in this one, who I expect to come out with a much stronger defensive presence than they had against the Warriors, who really shot really well and played really well, good team ball, passing the ball around a lot more, really getting the Bucks off balance. Not something the Lakers have done quite as much. The passing's been all right, but it's been a lot of obviously LeBron and AD to get guys open, if anything. The rim field goal percentage, however, is really good for the Lakers and not as good for the Bucks here. So we'll see if they have success there. Although, like I said, I expect them to crack down a bit more than they have been. And that's why right now, to be honest with you, like I do lean slightly over in this game. I know I'm talking about the rim percentage and all that kind of stuff for the Bucks and Lakers, and I expect the Bucks to take defense a little bit more seriously. But I still think the Lakers are going to have a lot of success going to the rim, as we've seen the problem that being one area that the Bucks haven't really been able to shore up their defense like they have in other areas where they've been getting back on defense and playing a lot better there. The Lakers are still going to just keep attacking. LeBron's probably a good bet for about 25.5 points. I don't see that going up too high. I think it's going to end right around where it started, to be honest. So if you want to take the 25.5 for LeBron, that might be something I talk about in the video tomorrow. But let's close things out with just looking at a couple of the key injuries for these teams. The Heat, in this game, they're plus 8.5 dogs. That was a bad loss to the Mavericks because they were up by so much, and in that for the whole game, really finished poorly in that one in the clutch. And the Thunder, they're -8 here. They've been playing a little bit less awesome, to be honest, than they were. They did reach first in the West at one point, and then haven't been quite the same team since the All-Star break. But they do have everybody healthy, so that is going to be a massive advantage for them. I think they're probably in a position to wax this team, but that said, that's exactly when you bet on the Heat, is when they're super not expected to win. The T-Wolves, big win against the Pacers. Ant came back from an ankle injury that he suffered early in the game. I lean Cavs in this one, mostly just because I don't think Ant is going to either. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play. Let's put it that way. He scored 44, had that unbelievable block at the end. Maybe I'm crazy and he's superhuman and he's going to play and be totally fine. But I'm almost like, why would you play him on the second night of a back-to-back if he did, in fact, have a bum ankle? So something to keep an eye on there for him. Whereas the Cavs already have Donnie Mitchell out, Evan Mobley out, Max Strus out, Ty Jerome out, and Tristan Thompson continues to serve that suspension that he got for the PEDs, somewhat unsurprisingly. So we'll see who plays for the Timberwolves tomorrow. But right now, I lean Cavs just with these T-Wolves on the back-to-back like they are. This game, the Rockets are at the Blazers here, -4.5, 218.5 total. I lean Rockets. I think they are going to be able to turn it around a little bit more, but with this Blazers team, you just don't know. I mean, there's so many guys out and doubtful. I do think Şengün's going to have his way. So if DeAndre Ayton is in fact out, I think the Rockets are a good bet. It's just they haven't been the same team on the road as they are at home all season, really. And that does give me pause a little bit, even after a good win against the Clippers at home. And that does bring them to about 3 wins in a row. And so maybe there is a little bit of the tide turning back towards them being in the positive regression mode. We'll see on that one. No bet for it just yet. And then this one, somewhat of the duty bowl. Like I said, the Hornets missing a bunch of guys still. Trey Mann's questionable. That would be bad. This might be the opportunity for this Wizards team to finally pull out a win and go ahead and feel good about themselves for the first time in 17 games, I believe. Marvin Bagley's out. Isaiah Livers out. Landry Shamet questionable. I don't really think those guys are super important anyway. And then in another really duty bowl, I mean, I had to decrease the crap out of this Grizzlies font just to get all these guys on here with how many injuries they have. And then the Hawks do have Trey out still. Onyeka Okongwu is probably going to be out for about another 7 to 10 days. The Rook, Kobe Buffkin, also going to be out about 7 to 10 days. So keep an eye on those injury reports for them. But that is all the time that I have for you guys in this one. Appreciate everybody following along. Definitely want to continue to subscribe to the page if you're new. We're bringing you these videos the night before with projections for everything that we have for as much as I can get to. Obviously, 8 games. Takes a lot of time to get that much stuff in there for you guys, but I'll keep trying to get as much as I can out. Best bets already in there, locked in. And then tomorrow we are going to have that video that comes out 3 p.m. with those final best bets and all the Playa Props that I have coming your way. So until I see you next, happy betting.